Interesting thing happened. I'd originally planned an addendum to self-destruction to elaborate more on the nature of mental illnesses and psychiatric treatment, but the thing is, as I was writing that, I started thinking about Luna as a character, outside of the ignorance of the writing staff, and something interesting came to me. Luna gets such a bad characterization because she's a fan favorite. Like, I can already picture an angry comment saying, "She hates Lunas because the fandom likes her. What a hipster she is." But just stop being crazy for a second and bear with me here. One of the big kneecaps to Luna is that she's a character designed entirely around projection. We've heard it since season 1 that so many fans see themselves in Luna, namely that they feel out of place or awkward. This was a similar issue with Fluttershy, where people with social anxiety were convinced that this was a realistic and practical representation of anxiety. She wasn't. The problem with projection is that it means that a character isn't allowed to grow without suffering pushback from fans. We all remember when Twilight ascended to an alicorn, it was met with wailing and gnashing of teeth that she's not gonna be our adorable socially awkward bookworm anymore. Even with that fervor having died down, the show itself can't even reference the fact that yes, Twilight has a title now, without invoking a deluge of largely manufactured criticism about titles creating expectations but not bestowing qualities. Don't give me that look. Fans get so attached to characters that embody their insecurities that they're rarely allowed to grow past these insecurities without invoking backlash. There are a number of theories as to why this is, and I prefer the cynical theory that fans overall want characters to affirm their insecurities rather than encourage them to grow past them. This has affected Luna. She hasn't really been given her own character arc because she's a secondary character. The series doesn't focus on her, it focuses on the main 7 characters: Twilight, Applejack, Fluttershy, Rainbow, Pinkie, Rarity, and Spike, fuck you. And with the number of times she's appeared to mentor the CMC, one could have assumed that she'd eventually grown past her guilt complex. But then Magic Sheep came out and it turns out that, just like Iron Man, Luna has been dwelling on everything that has happened to her over the years for quite a long time. And just like Iron Man, she's been constantly worrying about a nebulous threat she sees on the horizon, namely herself. And just like Iron Man, she's quietly going insane and nobody seems to care. As I've said before, I don't buy that everything was all fine and dandy after Twilight told Luna to get over herself. I think we're going to see this come up again, and that finally brings me to what I wanted to talk about. Thematically, Luna has one of the best designs in the series. I don't know about the rest of you, but I love the shadow magic aesthetic. It's one of my favorite themes in anything that's even remotely close to fantasy. The void in World of Warcraft, the old gods, the darkness in Kingdom Hearts. Every time it shows up, you get this beautiful theme of black, blue, and purple. It's powerful but dangerous. It's terrifying, but it's beautiful. And it's mysterious. The entire element of shadow magic throughout most fiction is seen to be evil and horrifying by everyone except those who take the time to learn about it, where they find something elegant and graceful underneath. On top of that, I've always imagined Luna to be the more proactive of the two sisters, one who isn't content to wait out Celestia's failing game of chess. I've always figured that Luna takes her role as a princess seriously. You guys remember in What About Discord where Twilight insists that she can't get jealous? Contrary to popular belief, this isn't Twilight denying the fact that she's jealous, this is Twilight holding herself to expectations. She is the princess of friendship and as such should know better than to be jealous. That's an attitude I see in Luna. It's not just the fact that she's a princess, she's also a demigod. More to the point, it's becoming increasingly clear that she's the most powerful of the 4 princesses and knows this, so she holds herself to higher expectations. I find this is why she dwells so much on having become Nightmare Moon despite Equestria never actually having suffered as a result of Nightmare Moon. She transformed, she was defeated by Celestia, and then imprisoned. Then she came back and was defeated again within a few hours. And in the alternate timeline, Nightmare Moon's reign is, for the most part, devoid of any suffering. So the only reason to continue to hold herself accountable for any of this is the fact that as a princess of Equestria, she should know better than to have pulled that crap in the first place. Also, 1,000 years of purgatory on the moon isn't necessarily good for your sanity. This has the potential to be a really good thing. I genuinely believe that the criticism regarding the princess title defining Luna and Twilight in the wrong ways to be bullshit. Luna and Twilight may run themselves into the ground trying to meet the expectations of their title, but they do care. They take their roles seriously, and setting expectations for yourself is how you keep from stagnating as a character. You can give me that look all you want, you know I'm right. In every possible manner, themes, aesthetic, and personality, Luna has always had the potential to be the most interesting character in the series, which is why it's always bothered me that the few times she does show up, she doesn't get to do much other than be more of a wooby. Luna has too much potential to be wasted on just being a fandom reference, to just be brought out so that Luna fans can go, "Oh my god, Luna, best princess ever!" and then not do anything with the character, which seems to be a very common element lately. The CMC are getting their cutie marks. What do we do with that idea? Nothing. We don't have to, because the fandom already creamed themselves the minute we said that. More and more, I think the writers have been using fan favorites as a crutch, an excuse to make filler episodes because they know it will be acclaimed either way. Luna suffers from this attitude. Because she's so hyped up, because she's such a fan favorite, and because bronies will squeal in delight if she so much as shows her face, the writers have an excuse to not bother. So the one character with the most potential ends up being the biggest waste of space in the series. This doesn't have to be this way. If I could detour for a minute, back in 2008, Blizzard announced that the second expansion to World of Warcraft was going to center around the Lich King. The Lich King was in a similar position as Luna. He was a fan favorite, and people had been craving the chance to see him in the game. The difference was that Arthas had earned that status. He was probably one of the most iconic characters of the entire Warcraft franchise. Blizzard had a perfectly good excuse to not bother with the majority of the expansion. As long as the confrontation with the Lich King was good, people were going to be satisfied. That didn't happen. Wrath of the Lich King had some of the most beautiful zones, the most memorable music, two of the best raid dungeons ever created, and some of the best 5-man content you will ever see. Even the story was a huge step up from the last 2 iterations on the game, taking full advantage of Arthas as an iconic character. He showed up constantly, toying with your character and fueling the anticipation for the final battle. And after all that, the fight with the Lich King still remains one of the most memorable boss fights in the entire game. Blizzard didn't waste what they had. They went all out with this expansion. They didn't use Arthas as an excuse to not try. They saw Arthas' popularity as more reason to put in that extra effort. And the result? World of Warcraft subscriber numbers were at their highest during Wrath of the Lich King, and it stayed high throughout the expansion's lifecycle. That is the kind of dedication and effort that a character with this much of a fan following should be getting. It's the kind of effort that Luna has historically not gotten. And I find that if you're still a Luna fan after the raw deal she got in Season 5, you honestly deserve more than you're currently getting. Boy, there's something I never thought I'd say. My name is Lily, thanks for watching.